And let's not even discuss the conservative media. Okay, let's discuss it. It's 2:30 in the morning. Let's discuss it. I quit on the conservative media. I give up. None of them are worth anything. I really stopped kind of reaching out to the media a while ago because they always refused to cover my stuff, or they would flat out steal my stuff and call it theirs when it wasn't. So I just stopped reaching out to the media at some point, when I had something important, because either they weren't gonna cover it or they were gonna steal it and claim it was theirs when it wasn't theirs, it was mine. But I reached out to them. I every once in a while, I still did. I reached out to all of them after we infiltrated the Autistic Sex Ed webinar. And for those of you who missed the Autistic Sex Ed webinar, look up Autistic Sex Ed on this channel. Look it up on my Substack. You will be shocked. You will be genuinely shocked. They're teaching queer Marxism sex education to autistic kids in public school. They're teaching it at the National Sex Ed Conference as the standard. They're teaching autistic kids how to masturbate with sex toys. Underage kids. I got them all admitting this on video. I got them all admitting it on video overtly. Honestly, look it up on my Substack. I was up till 4 in the morning one morning making, like, what, 20 something clips to really break it down and give you all the good stuff, and there was so much stuff in the autistic sex ed training that we infiltrated that there were, over a dozen clips, maybe close to 20 clips, I don't even remember. Thank you for the super sticker, PT, I do appreciate it. So that was rather important, right? Like, would you guys think it would be important if for actual just video evidence that in public schools they are teaching autistic underage children to masturbate with sex toys without their parents being present, and they're teaching them all sorts of other shit too. That is like the tip of the iceberg of what they're teaching these kids, and I got it all on video, and I reached out to every conservative media outlet because I was like, kind of a big deal. And it went like baby viral on Twitter. Because normal people, when they see it, they understand why it's important and they share it. So I got normal people to share it. I got some influencers to share it on Twitter. But did any conservative media cover it, even though they all knew about it? No. That was my first real black belt. You're gonna whine all day about groomers? Honestly? You're gonna whine and complain all day about groomers? And then you get video evidence of them teaching autistic children to masturbate using sex toys in public school as part of standard sex ed curriculum, and you have it on video, and there's no question about what's being said. There's no confusion. There's no innuendo. You have the full context. It's not a clip out of context because I filmed and recorded the full training. So if people want to see the full context of the training, I fucking have it. And you complain about groomers all day in schools and you won't tell people what's going on? And then this last one with the Socialist Conference, I still have material I haven't released from the Socialist Conference. But I released some pretty big things. I released photographic evidence of a self-managed abortion tour to include abortion doula and a self-worship abortion shrine. I released a massive book list of books targeting trans kids in elementary school. I released information about an organization that is quite literally offering psychotherapy to trans 3-year-olds, at the same time offering BDSM therapy to adults in the same clinic with the same therapists. These people are literally calling themselves the abortion storytellers. It's in their bios. I have everything from this event documented. I have the former president of Hampshire College denouncing capitalism from the main stage during the keynote. I have every bit of this documented. And I reached out to conservative media again against my better judgment because they always disappoint me. And I actually did get some response this time, and I was told that it was going to be covered, and it never was. Never covered. By a few shows here and there, just like more independent media stuff, and I did get some good views on it, and I was happy with that. But again, the conservative media that screams all day about socialism, 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 the conservative media who screams about how awful these abortion mongers are and how awful the shout your abortion people are, have literal evidence of an abortion shrine handed to them on a silver fucking platter, and they refuse to cover it. And they lie about it and they make excuses. But do you know what they did cover? This is a true story. Big time conservative media outlet refused to cover the socialist conference and the abortion shrine and the abortion doula and the gender clinic that is treating children starting at 3 years old by doing psychotherapy on trans kids and having trans kids support groups starting at 5 years old, trans book club starting at 8 years old. They refused to cover that. But do you know what they did cover? There was an actual story about a woman wearing a low cut top to the gym and men staring at her. And this was considered newsworthy that by a major, 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 major conservative media outlet. That a woman wore a low cut top to the gym and men stared at her. That was considered more newsworthy than literal abortion shrine by conservative media. Well, I guess conservatives, we just have different values. Because you whine and complain all day about grooming, 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 abortion, 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 saving babies, saving babies, saving babies, saving babies, saving babies, saving kids, saving kids, saving kids, saving kids, saving kids. Whine and complain all day. But when you are handed things on a silver platter and you refuse to even look at them, but you will cover a story about a woman wearing a low cut top to a gym and men staring at her like that's real news. Why am I even wasting my time? Why am I putting myself in, quite frankly, physical danger? Because I know I play this off and I try to be lighthearted about it. I really do. But can we just acknowledge that there was actual Antifa at this socialist conference that I went to? There really was. That's no joke. I put myself in physical goddamn danger by going to that conference. A stunt, by the way, that I don't think I can ever actually pull again without really putting my safety in danger, even though I'm probably going to end up trying. And you can't even bother to cover it. You can't even bother to tell your audience what's going on. Don't tell me you claim to care about the things that you are raising holy hell about when you are handed this stuff on a silver platter and you do nothing with it. And then on top of it, I get told that I'm a groomer every goddamn day by the people that claim to care about this stuff, but when they are shown evidence of actual grooming and actual leftist insanity handed to them, here you go for free, you're welcome. They do nothing with it. Now, I'm not in this to get to be on Fox News. I'm really not. I did that. I'm kind of over it, to be honest. But you know what? I've thought a lot about the first big media that I did after I was the Democrat that went to the Trump rally was Fox and Friends. I've been on Fox News many times. But that first story about I was a Democrat for 20 years who went to a Trump rally. And that got me on Fox and Friends. Okay, cool. But that wasn't news. That wasn't news. Me going to a Trump rally wasn't news. I understand that it inspired a lot of people. I get it. I became a symbol of something that I don't even really know what I became a symbol of because it really doesn't matter anymore. But my story was not news. It wasn't. Do you know what is news? Autistic children being taught how to masturbate with sex toys in sex ed class by people who are definitely not their parents. That's actual news. That's important. People should really know about that. Parents of autistic kids should really know about that. I don't even, quite frankly, really care if you put my name on it or not, even though I was the only one who cared enough to go and get the information. But that's something that's important that people need to know about. And they refuse to cover it. Or for people who claim to care so much about saving babies, to have literal photos of a real live abortion shrine handed to them on a silver platter, and they choose woman in low cut top gets ogled at the gym. We are so fucked. We are so fucked. It's not even funny. And it's your influencers that are doing it. It's your influencers, the people that you look to, the people that you trust, that are doing it. Because they're not telling you what's actually going on. They refuse to show you what's actually going on. And I try. I really do try. And I try to be nuanced about it. And I always try to show you the full context so that you really understand it. I spend so many hours just sitting here watching content with you and explaining it to you and showing you all of it. I show you things no one else on the internet is showing you. But do you know what gets the most views? Steven Crowder. And fine, we can do our Steven Crowder stuff and we can bitch on Candace Owens and all of that stuff, and we can use them examples of being, at least Candace, the raging obvious narcissist that she is. We can do that stuff, and I don't mind doing it, and I don't mind taking breaks, and I don't mind doing trashy drama streams. But where the fuck are you when it's important. And why can't I get people to demand that their media and their influencers actually cover things that are important? Because if people demanded, they would cover it. People have no idea how bad it really is because they refuse to look, and the people that they trust to tell them how bad it really is refuse to tell them. Victoria, thank you for the super chat. I normally watch from my husband's account, but I watch all your live streams. Well, imp up with my baby pulled my middle schooler from I pulled my middle schooler from school because he See, and then I get stuff like this where people tell me that they pulled their kid out of school because of me, and I'm like, "Okay." And I think this is why I still do it. So thank you for telling me that. Shauna says the ASD being taught like that is going to be worse because they're already confused about gender. That's exactly right. They're proactively trying to trans autistic kids through autistic sex education, and I have all the evidence of it, and no conservative media outlet wants to cover it. So parents don't know because I can't. If I could get millions of people to look at my stuff and actually look at it, I would, but I can't. And we had it. We fucking have the evidence of it. I definitely didn't anticipate crying tonight, just so people know. We have the evidence that they're using sex education to trans autistic children. We have it in no uncertain terms. We have the full form content. It's not just a clip. It exists on this channel right now. And no one thought it was important enough to tell parents. Don't tell me they care about the things they claim to care about because they don't. They really don't. None of them really care. David, thank you for the super chat. Please keep the faith, Carlin. I've been following and watching you for years. Your civic service is appreciated. I do appreciate that.